So ladies and gentlemen, on today's focus, we are going to be seeing why racism is a difficult subject for white people to discuss. Because I'm coming down with the fact that we have biracial people, we have biracial kids, and still this is a topic of concern that most white Americans are not ready to talk about. And this is why.
Why do so many white people get super defensive when black people talk about racism? Have you ever noticed that oftentimes when a black person is talking about racism in the presence of white people, a lot of times the white people will get so annoyed, frustrated, angry, and defensive. And it's like, it's more upsetting to them to hear a black person talk about being the target of anti-black racism than it is the fact that the black person is actually still experiencing racism in the year 2024. So it's kind of weird. It's like the racism doesn't really make them angry. It's the fact that we're talking about it that makes them upset. So maybe you've seen some of this type of behavior come up when a black person is speaking about anti-black racism, systemic racism, or white supremacy culture. And if you have, which more than likely you have, it's because of one reason. Because defensiveness is another characteristic of white supremacy culture. So welcome back to my new video series called It's Time You Learned About White Supremacy Culture. Defensiveness is just another characteristic of white supremacy culture.
Biochemically, I understand why white people can't stand us. Because I can reproduce you out of existence. You see that? I understand segregation for white people. If I let you move amongst me and reproduce with my women, you will kill us off. There will be no more white folks.
Literally, yeah.
Because we are genetically recessive. So I understood the racism, but I won't condone the tactics that they employed in order to protect themselves. The lynchings, the killings, the beatings, the
indoctrination,
denial of opportunity. That's unacceptable. I understand you want to keep yourself to yourself. Because you see, the white man can only reproduce with a white woman. He can't reproduce with no other woman.
And the definition of white is extremely narrow.
Exactly.
I think the real reason that some white people get upset or like don't understand when they see black people in spaces that they're in, or black people in positions of authority or advancing and things like that, the reason that they relate it to like, well, it must be like you're getting something that you're not qualified for, like it is racism, but there's another underlying part of that. And it really boils down to the fact that they can't fathom a reality where you advance in life, where you get a position, where you move up at all without stealing something or stepping on somebody or exploiting somebody. They can't, in their brain, they don't have any recall within their collective history of any time period where they've been able to build without stealing or massacring or doing something to somebody else. So like when they see another group of people, whether that be black people or POC, in positions that they feel like, well, no, that's my position. And when they see them, they think well, you couldn't have got it any other way besides taking it from somebody and like stealing it. There's no way you actually worked for it, because in their history and present day, they don't have, even within the country itself, standing up, the United States, they don't have any like precedent of like existing, like moving up, like building without taking something from somebody, without stealing. Like they have no creativity in their mind. Well, not even creativity, they have no recall and lack the imagination to imagine that being a possibility. So when they see a black person or a POC in spaces and things like that, it's got to be the DEI thing, even though it don't make sense. That's the only thing they have in their brain. It's like the only way you able to make it, the only way I know you make it in this world is by stealing stuff and like, exploiting and like taking things away from people that belong to them. Take things, and that's it. That's all they got.
Oh, I do think that white people are absolutely jealous of black people, specifically with the community, and also with like fashion and music and everything else that is appropriated. But by design of what whiteness is, it inherently lacks community. And I think we're absolutely jealous of that. And I've heard biracial people say that they do see that difference in their own families. Because in addition to European cultures being more individualistic than cultures from Africa, South America, and indigenous North American cultures, the invention of whiteness in America erased a lot of ties to actual culture. So when I say like white people, black community, I'm not talking about like Polish people or German people or Irish people. As I explain in my book, I just wrote the intro and I'm working on the conclusion today. Y'all keep me in your prayers. In the course of human history, white is a relatively new term. As we discussed in the introduction to this book, white is a North American term emerging from the 1600s as a term to justify the enslavement of Africans and squelch revolts from poor Europeans and indentured servants. Before this term, Europeans would identify with their nationalities. The Irish, Italians, Germans, French are all very different cultures. Thus, there is not the same communal tie to whiteness as there is for people from other communities. Further, since white was created to be a divider, a separator, it is not a happy identity. It is not something people want to admit they relate to. It doesn't have a rich, healthy history. Speaking as a white American who has conducted national level research on white Americans, we tend to say things like we have German, Irish, Italian, etc. ancestry, even if we have never been to those places. This is because all white Americans have ties to immigration, and because these identities are actual cultures, they do not have roots only in oppression. Now, we know who started colonization, right? So this is the book I'm trying to finish by Monday and send to the editor. There's a free chapter in my bio if you're interested on one of the unwritten rules of work. The book is predominantly about class, but I talk about 3 other identities that you can't talk about class without talking about these other identities, and race is absolutely one of them.
So I'm seated here and I'm beginning to wonder, but I want to believe that the United States of America has a history as one of the fundamental core subjects, which is supposed to be taken right from the kindergarten to maybe high school, and you can also learn this in the university. But I'm wondering how do they cover the black excellence, the black history? How is it covered? Because I'm very sure if you have authentication, if you didn't have any malice towards this great subject, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here because it's so frustrating to see a child growing up and they have hate towards another people, towards their peers. So this brings to question what really happens in the history class. On the comment section, if you've done an American curriculum, if you have studied in America, maybe you could tell us, because you can't tell me black people did not cross the sea. They did not cross the ocean to go to another country, to colonize people, to demean them. They did not do that. So this brings to question a lot of stuffs. And I'm even wondering if kids are learning about some of the inventories that were discovered by black people. The black people discovered the dryer. The clothing dryer that you use right now was discovered by the black people. So on today's episode, we are just going to learn and to get to understand why white people, they don't want to talk about racism. They don't want to discuss it. Is it because they fear? They totally don't want to talk about this issue. And this is what the black people have been fighting since the beginning of time until now. And then when we are silent, you think it's for a reason. It's not for a reason. We are tired. We've been there. We've seen so much. Right now, as we speak, there is a case for ICE, which is really rampant. I don't know when this is going to stop, because it's not stopping anytime soon. And the white people are on front telling us to, you know what, we need to fight for us. Dude, we've been fighting. And this brings us to question, like, when we were fighting, we fought so hard. But you guys didn't listen. You didn't give us a ear to listen. So this could be maybe like a sad video, but it's also good to understand the truth. It's good to understand that you are fighting somebody who doesn't have anything against you. Kids go to school, they're not told the truth. you grow up and you know, like, you know what, you ask like, I don't like my neighbor. Why don't you like your neighbor? I don't like him because he's black. That is not enough reason for to justify your hate against somebody. But I also feel this is because of the system. The system has lied to people about what black people can do, what black people have done before, what black people have invented, the contribution that the black person has given to the government, to the business. It's not just all about soca, music, and all that. And of course, yes, we are good in those as well. But we also have like really magnificent black excellence. Something that people don't talk about. If you go to Google right now, you start Googling great black people, even the history itself does not acknowledge black excellence. If you Google, you just find like a black person is famous because they are athletes, famous because they are doing music, they are rappers. But ideally, we have people who have ventured into other sectors. We have some of the great professors who are black. But history has refused to acknowledge. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yvonne, and thank you so much for coming across my video. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much. Like this video, share, and comment down below. Do you think racism is something that is going to end anytime soon? Or do you think, why is it so difficult for the white community to speak loud about racism? And to my new subscribers, thank you so much for coming along. And if you like this video, share, subscribe, turn on the notification button so that you can be notified anytime I post. Thank you.